Now, the Super Mario series is famous for a couple of things. Fat Italians, being made by Japanese people, overall good controls, platforming, and more. However, another thing that is seen in a lot of these games and became a staple at some point is the enemy variations. And there are a couple of enemies that have so many of these, it's borderline insane. And a good example of this are the Goombas and also Shy Guys. And today we will take a look at my top 5 favorite Shy Guy types, and some of these truly have a special place in my heart. So let's dive right in. Number 5. Now, to start off this list, we will look at a certain type of Shy Guy that's quite adorable, I can't lie, but can also be very deadly, and that's mostly because you don't always see them. And there's only one that truly fits with this description. The Petal Guys who are seen in the Yoshi Island games. These wear flowers on their head and use them to hide by crouching down on the ground so that you can only see the flowers. But when you get close to where they are hiding, they will get up and try to hurt you. And when they do finally leave their hiding place, they still have the flowers on their head. Now obviously these guys are cute as all hell. That's not really a discussion. They are some sort of flower crown wearing hippie Shy Guys, which fits perfectly in the Yoshi Island game since those have bright colors and an overall happy aesthetic. And when it comes to its tactics, they are a classic trap enemy. A foe that hides somewhere or somehow, and then when the time is right, they will strike. They also kinda remind me of some sort of commando Shy Guy, hiding from the enemy, and as soon as they get close, he will strike. This is something we have seen more often in the games, since players need a bit of a surprise every now and then to keep everything interesting. And these enemies do a pretty good job at this, while also looking absolutely fabulous. And I mean, what else do you need? In my opinion, not much really. Number 4. Now for our next one, we are once again looking at a classic from the Yoshi Island games. And this one is very different from the previous one. It's the Bandit. And along with the normal Shy Guys, they are some of the most common enemies in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. The blue ones wander around until they spot you, and then they will instantly start chasing you. And if it actually catches up to you, it will take Baby Mario and run away with him. And surprising enough, these things can run incredibly fast and jump on top of small ledges even. So it's actually quite hard to catch them again when they have Baby Mario. But that's not all, because they can also trick you, since sometimes they hide behind rocks, mushrooms or cave walls, and only come out of hiding to get their hands on Baby Mario once again. Aside from that, you have a pink version that has red coins, and you even have to take them on in minigames. Clearly Nintendo gave them quite some love, and in my opinion rightfully so, because they are designed in such a way that they can have different roles in a level. That's also why Nintendo can even make whole levels based around these enemies. They can be put in a level just to annoy you, being in your way like a Koopa Troopa does, or hiding behind something to fulfill the classic trap enemy role. So no matter what kind of level Nintendo was making, these enemies can have an interesting role while making the player's life hard. And that's why I like them so much. They do more than most while also having a good looking design that really stands out. It's just a shame that they weren't used in more games. We rarely see them, and they weren't in any of the main series Super Mario titles, sadly enough. Only the Yoshi stuff. But hey, maybe that will happen one day. They could easily fit into a Super Mario title after all, so we could see something like that in the future. Number 3. Jumping. The one thing that is seen in every Super Mario game, and spin-off that's tied to it in any way, shape or form. This is by far the most important ability of the entire franchise. So of course, Nintendo had to come up with certain enemies and obstacles that would make it harder to jump. And so the glorious Stilt Guys were born, first appearing in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Now that I think about it, a lot of Shy Guys were actually put into that game, if not all of them. Anyways, the strategy of this enemy is as straightforward as it gets. As soon as you see them, you basically know what's up, because they literally walk on gigantic stilts, making them really hard to jump on. Which is a problem, as you can imagine. And all they do is just walk around, changing direction when they encounter an edge or a wall. And you're supposed to get past them somehow. And you can't really eat them as Yoshi. Instead, you will just push them back with your tongue. So it's still handy, but you can't defeat them that way. To be honest, your best bet to beat it is hitting it with an egg or just pushing them off a ledge when you get the chance. In general, I find the design of this enemy quite clever, even though they can be really annoying to deal with in the game. But that's their goal. They are basically a gigantic walking wall that tries to block your path or even force you back, while also being a bit of a joke. I mean, just look at them. But if you are the fastest egg slinger in the West, then you can completely wreck them, making for quite an easy but fun challenge. It's satisfying in my opinion. So I think they are pretty cool. Number 2. Now, since jumping is so important, they also had to add some enemies that can be found up there, in the air. However, instead of just doing that, they came up with some foes that do more than just piss you off. You know, by dealing damage or being in the way. And a great example of this is the Fly Guy. And again, they were seen for the very first time in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, like all the others almost. Now in the game, these creatures fly around while carrying all kinds of items, like red coins, extra lives, normal coins, winged clouds, or even bombs. And in some levels they even swoop down carrying a question mark cloud or a red coin. But you need to be fast if you really want to catch these. And all of this makes them so incredibly special because they are more than just a lame enemy that attacks you. Sure, they can still do that too when you jump into them or you get a nasty surprise when they carry a bomb, but when that isn't the case, their role is different. They are some sort of minigame, since you usually try to get the thing they are carrying by shooting them down with an egg, which is quite hard at times, especially if they are only there for a limited amount of time. Then you really need to be quick or they are gone in a second. And so when you see one of them carrying something nice, you got to shoot into action and throw an egg at it. Personally, I think that's quite fun. The egg throwing mechanic was one of the main attractions of the game after all. So adding this makes it more fun. You can use it more now and it's all for a small prize instead of just taking out something that's in your way. Sadly enough though, we never really saw these do anything fun in the main series games. Only in the Yoshi titles and other spin-off stuff, they were special. Sure, in Super Mario 64 you can jump on them and they reward you with coins and a handy jump boost, but that's kind of it. And I gotta say, it's a bit disappointing. They could have done something more fun with them, especially in the 2D titles. Here they could even act as platforms, or in a similar manner to what we saw in the Yoshi games. But who knows what the future holds. It would be fun to see a better version in a Super Mario game. Number 1. Now we get to the best Shy Guy ever created in history. And I will be honest, I like it because of nostalgia. But it does tick all the right boxes. Good looking design, fitting look for the environment it's seen in, and of course a fun role in the games. Actually, now that I think about it, this enemy does have some things in common with the Stilt Guys I mentioned earlier. Because Spear Guys also get in your way with their stupid long weapons, and of course this enemy was seen in Yoshi's Island and many other spin-off games. Now first their design. They look adorable and also fit extremely well in the jungle levels. That's actually where we see them the most. And when you encounter them, you're in trouble, because they can only be defeated by an egg or being eaten by Yoshi's tongue from behind because they have a shield. And how they try to harm you is by using really long spears that can make for an obstacle that you need to jump over or avoid. Because as soon as you touch any part of the spear, it can cause Baby Mario to fall off and then he gets kidnapped. And other times they will just stand somewhere off the side of a level where you will come past them and they will quickly poke you with their spear. So in a way, this enemy is like a Stilt Guy but more complex, because he can use his spear to attack more effectively while still being a huge obstacle, while also looking a lot better than those enemies. So they are great to say the least, but it gets even better, because there's also a variation called the Dancing Spear Guy, and this one is known for dancing in a fixed place. And these are by far the most fun, adorable, and entertaining to look at. I mean, just look at this guy go! A cute little tribesman doing his thing. When I was a kid and played through parts of Yoshi's Island on my Game Boy, I always got excited as soon as I saw one of these. Now that I think about it, these enemies were also the most memorable for me personally. I even noticed that as soon as I started writing this script. Because from the very start, the Spear Guys were put on number 1. And so, because of my nostalgia and so many things being on point with this enemy, I love them with all my heart. And they certainly deserve to be my number one. Thanks for watching, be sure to like this video, click in the upper right corner for more videos, click subscribe and the bell button so you won't miss anything, leave a comment naughty or nice, and I will see you all in the next one.